Last night, the Democrats notched a bunch of big wins in several high-profile races. Now, one of them is Democrat Ralph Northam. Now, he won the Virginia governor's race, defeating Ed Gillespie in the election to replace outgoing Democratic Governor Terry McAuliffe. In New Jersey, of course, Democrat Phil Murphy beat Republican Kim Guadagno in the race to replace outgoing Governor Chris Christie, who, of course, is unbelievably, or actually more believably, super unpopular. So, I mean, really, really unpopular in New Jersey. But what do you expect? This is the guy who closed down beaches to then go sit in said beaches, shutting down bridges. And he's also the one that sold off 9/11 memorabilia to his donors. So all that stuff made him incredibly unpopular. And now we're seeing the backside of Chris Christie. Okay, not interested in seeing the backside of Chris Christie in any respect, but I'm glad he's gone. But anyway, now let me tell you about the candidates that actually did win. So Tim Murphy, like I said, in New Jersey, he's actually a former Goldman Sachs banker. So negative points on that one. But to be fair, he did run on some progressive policies, at least one being legalizing marijuana. So, hey man, Murphy, you take office and you don't legalize pot, we're coming for you. All right. We'll see if he actually follows through on that. But then there are also some policies that he supported, like taxing or increasing taxes on more wealthy people in New Jersey. So we'll see. We'll see if he follows through on that. I'm, of course, very, very skeptical because he is more of an establishment candidate. Nonetheless, that that election was definitely in his favor. So, of course, he was expected to win that quite easily. Now, the Virginia race, that's actually far more interesting because it was far more competitive. Now, you had Ralph Northam, who was competing against Ed Gillespie, as I said, who ran on very hard right immigration policies. Now, Northam himself, I'm going to say this, he was not a great candidate. He's, of course, a member of the centrist establishment. He's a Democratic establishment centrist, okay? And he actually, during the course of his campaign, decided, hey, you know what I'm going to do? It's a great idea. It's going to help me win. I'm going to go to the center. Or actually, no, I'm not even going to go to the center. I'm going to go to the right on immigration. So I'm going to go up against any sanctuary cities. If they pop up in Virginia, which they have not, but if they do, I will veto that. I will make sure that there are no sanctuary cities in Virginia. Well done. Well played, Ralph. Nonetheless, he did actually win. But it was really, really close. So it was a very close race where they almost picked the Republican over the Republican light. So nonetheless, there is actually good news on this. And that is the fact that the control of the Virginia governor's mansion is pretty significant when it comes to redistricting. So 2020, we've got our new census that comes out, and the more state houses we have under Democratic control, the more that means that the Republicans can't sit there and gerrymander the shit out of districts in order to, make it so it's easier for Republicans to win the House. So there's one positive of a Northam win. So now again, those are the two big races. Let's talk about some of the other smaller races. Democrats flipped a number of Virginia legislative seats. One of those seats was won by Danica Roem. Now, Danica Roem is actually Virginia's first openly transgender legislator. Now, she defeated incumbent Bob Marshall to win in the 13th district. Now, what's interesting in this is that Marshall is somebody who actually introduced a bathroom bill to the Virginia House of Delegates. Bathroom bill, right? Keeping the transgenders out of the the bathrooms that they weren't assigned at birth. So this is sort of awesome because here's a transgender person saying, hey, you know what? You did this bathroom bill. I'm going to run against you. and I'm actually going to beat you. And that's what they did. Now, Marshall said when he proposed the legislation, quote, mere separation of the sexes should not be considered discrimination. Now, the best part about this is that Rome did not run on the fact that she's transgender. She actually ran on local issues that impacted the community. Now, what did Marshall run on? He ran on white, straight identity politics. So identity politics, in this case, cost a Republican his seat. Awesome. And look, you want to talk about identity politics. Republicans run it all the time. This whole silent majority, alt-right crap is nothing more than aggrieved white people identity politics. And it's even more prevalent, I think, in the Republican Party than in the Democratic Party. I mean, the entire Southern strategy, that's identity politics. Saying, we're white, you guys are black, therefore you deserve less rights, and we're better than you. But anyway, it's not just the centrist establishment Democrats that won. There were other House of Delegates races, and this is Democrat Lee Carter, who won out over Republican Jackson Miller. Now, what's interesting about the Lee Carter race is that in August, the D.C. chapter of the Democratic Socialists of America had endorsed him, who the chapter identified as, quote, a member of the DSA in good standing. Immediately, that win, of course, should show you that it's not the fact that tacking to the center gets you more votes. And of course, I'm going to do another segment that breaks down all of the wins for actual progressives last night. But again, this is really important to mention. Last night was a good string of wins. Now, if the Democratic Party can carry this momentum back all the way into 2018, then this could be huge. And I think part of this, too, by the way, is to push back to an incredibly unpopular Republican president. Trump lost big with Gillespie. In fact, he's already tweeting about it. Rage tweeting, I should say. Ed Gillespie didn't embrace Trump enough. Yeah, okay, so that was the problem. Now, to be fair, he could be right about that. He did distance himself from Trump politically. So, I don't know. The Republican base overwhelmingly approves of Donald Trump. So, I don't know, maybe. But nonetheless, Gillespie still was with Trump policy-wise on some of his very hard-right immigration positions. So, and that didn't, of course, didn't sit well with people in Virginia, obviously. And what this shows, of course, is that hard-right policy is not popular. Now, the big question here is this a prelude to 2018? Are we going to see this kind of flip? Are we going to see this kind of momentum into 2018? And I'm not sure. I mean, there is a great slate of progressive candidates that are right now planning to run primaries and defeat Democratic incumbents. And once they do that, they take on Republicans if they win. And if they're successful, I do believe that these progressive candidates will actually pick up some big wins. That is my hope. We'll have to see if that's true, if that turns out. But again, this is a pretty big deal for both progressives and establishment Democrats, because we have seen a lot of wins last night. There were some losses as well, but again, there are a lot of wins, and I think everybody should enjoy the victory while it lasts. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.